that definite desire to make sure our children, our students are successful. So I do want to welcome Jack to our session today and all of our participants today to learn from Jack and what she does to help manage her three incredible students, her three kiddos, both academically and successfully within their extracurriculum. All three of her children are actors and they are all successful, both Adam, Kara, and Eric. And so I was reached out to her to ask, how do you do it? How do you manage everything? What tips and tricks do you use day in and day out to be able to juggle all of those different balls that she juggles? So I'm going to pass it over to Jack and let her continue with this presentation and what she does with her family and might be of use to you and your kiddo.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I am trying to put up a slideshow. If you guys can let me know if you actually can see what I put up there, that would be excellent. It's really good to be here. I had to laugh when they asked about how I juggle it because, you know, we all feel like, well, I don't have a choice, right? I wake up every morning and I get through the day, and at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, look what I got done, and try not to look real hard at this list of things that I didn't get done. So let me put some things up here. Tell you just a little bit about us. We are, hold on one second. I am not able to move pages yet. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of background. We have been doing this for 4 years, and we were in public school for 4 years before we did this, and I was PTA president, and I was busy, and did all kinds of things, and I am really bad at doing things on a set schedule, and so the normal world doesn't really work. And when the kids got into acting, I had less say than ever, and I couldn't take the balance between the school system telling us where to be when and the acting world telling us where to be when, not to mention my husband and I trying to run the company. And I had fallen in love with the K12 curriculum well before we entered kindergarten, but I wasn't sure that I could pull it off because it was a lot of responsibility and a lot of crazy work that had to happen. So, you know what, I'm going to ask you to be patient with me for 1 second. I'm going to grab a glass of water real quick because I was messing with that Collaborate. Okay, sorry for that. So anyway, so I have a lot of different things that happen on a given day, and what I have done is try to decide how to manage the chaos. So let me you know what, you guys are telling me I don't have the privilege to change the page, which is odd because I did when I turned this on. There we go. Okay, so my three kids have three entirely different styles. I have a night owl that when he decides that he wants to get something done, he just starts, and it might be 10 o'clock at night, and I have to really work not to tell him to stop working and go to bed and let him do his thing. The middle one is a daydreamer, and she she can get lost in a project or lost in a thought, and she's very creative, but I have to make sure that I get her to be creative in the right areas. And then my youngest is the one that just wants to get everything done and get it done right now because he has to move on to the next thing. And it took me a little while to figure out that with our crazy schedules and all the things we were juggling, that I couldn't fight the natural who they were. And so I try to take that into consideration, and that means being adaptable. And just so you understand how their careers fit into this, for example, yesterday Eric was on set for a new series that's coming out in the spring for ABC, and we have to report it was 11 o'clock in the morning, which is a great report. Sometimes they're 5 a.m. But I don't know when I get there how much work I can actually hope he gets done. And yesterday he had 3 hours with a great set teacher and got a ton of stuff done. But sometimes he'll be called to set so much that he can only get little snippets of things done. So I have to kind of be prepared for whatever it is that I get when I show up that morning. So if we go, or one too many. Hold on a second. So this is the schedules I carry around, and it might sound funny, but I have a notebook. And while I'm very technical, I carry around an old-fashioned spiral binder and a loose leaf binder, and it has categories. And on one page is what I call a normal day, which looks a lot like an old-fashioned school day. This is when we're going to do math, and this is when we're going to do literature, and this is when we're going to do history, and this is when we're going to have lunch, and everybody knows that this is what a normal day can look like. And, I use an old analogy from dieting. Just because I fell off the wagon today doesn't mean tomorrow I shouldn't diet. So just because yesterday was crazy and we didn't follow the schedule doesn't mean that today we shouldn't get up and try and follow the schedule, and at least keep in mind that there is some organization to life. So my notebook has the sections in it very much like what you see on the screen here. What is normal, which is seriously looks like an agenda for the day, as we discussed. I have what we do if we're going to work from home, what we're going to do if we're working on the road. So it could be that I took the kids to the office with me that day, or we could be sitting on set, or frankly, we could be driving down Highway 5 for 6 hours and just need to, sometimes we call it the I-5 Academy that we're going to for school. So what does that kind of day look like? The transit days are very interesting because they could be doctor's appointments or auditions or dentist appointments. So we have a bag, and it has stuff that we carry around with us that we can get done throughout the day. When the weather allows and timing allows, we have working in a fun spot. So we do have a favorite Starbucks that we can get a table with power in the back and sit at Starbucks and get some things done, or the library is always great because we can get some of our research done and pick up some of our literature. And then we have these other days that are called focus days. And focus days are how we catch up. Or take on tough subjects or do some different things. When the rest of the world hasn't cooperated with where we want to be, then we do these focus days. So my notebook has these schedules in it, and it kind of writes when I trip up on something. For example, we're struggling with life science, and I put it on my focus section that we're going to plan an all-day Saturday life science day, and we're just going to go through and handle all of that. Or Adam did the Anne Frank play, so I made sure that anything that I could get school-wise out of that, from literature or reading or free reading or whatever, I made a note so that when we spent that particular week getting all of Anne Frank handled, that we were getting as much school done related to that topic as well. So I just keep notes to myself and what I need to do and what I need to carry and how I can help them through doing some of those things. So let me talk to you about the defined normal. This, to me, is so funny when I look at it. I bet we get 3, maybe 5 days a month that look normal, as you're seeing here. Where we just sit down at home and go through the list. But what's important, and this has been tweaked over time, is that they know that there's a certain amount of time in every day that has to be devoted to a subject in order for us to finish on time. And let's say at 8:30 they don't want to do math, then they have to go and pick up a history or pick something else and rearrange it. But they know that these buckets have to actually happen. They also know when they can have a snack or when they can play or when they can have a break. And if they do the day right, it actually works out kind of cool because they can have their evenings off to do whatever. And if they don't stick to the schedule, then they have to do it later. Now with my night owl, there's a lot of this morning that doesn't happen. But he does know that then he has to go finish those lessons after dinner. And he does. There's no argument anymore. It's like, no, you made a trade. It gives some kind of control and kind of units. And my daydreamer knows that if she can't get something done in her block, then that she may not get to go on that walk, or she may not get time for whatever her great projects are that she wants to do later. So it just gives them a little bit of control, but still gives them guidance on how we've got some things doing. All right. So working at home versus working on the road. So everybody has a workspace. They have a shelf with their books on it. They have their laptops. They have all of their tools. When they're working from home, we keep water and snacks on the table so they don't have to get up. They've got power. There's not a lot of interruption from other things. And they know to just go into their weekly plan and work their weekly plan. And so that area is organized, and that is the easiest place for them to work without my intervention, because I have it all set up with what they need to have there. The on the road is a little bit different. And I would think that whether you have a tennis player or a sports person or just some other extracurricular activity, a dancer, there's all kinds of things that kids do these days. There's you're not everybody's in a position to just be home every day doing their work and getting the job done. And so the flexibility that we have with K12 is that wherever we are, we can get our jobs done. So we have a special backpack that they know to pack in advance. So whether we're going like on set to yesterday or to the office, they're making sure that they have their laptop and they know which online subject they can work on in that time. And just in case there isn't power or the internet is out or whatever the issues are, they also have an offline subject that they're bringing with them. And they have to be prepared when we go on the road in advance to know which lessons they can do, how far can they go. I don't allow them to do tests, any kind of unit assessments on the road, and I don't let them do final composition on the road. So they have to make sure that they've picked a subject that has several lessons before they hit a test point so that they don't end up saying, oh, gosh, I'm stuck, I can't get anything done. And more important than at home, because we we get our own workspace, is they have to make sure that they have headsets so they can block out whatever the noise is that's going on around them and listen online, or even if they're doing offline, we'll sometimes let them have music in or something to block out what's going on around them so that they can get that done. So then, working on the run. So this is a little different than a place. When we go to set or we go to the office, we're just moving from home for a couple of hours. And this working on the run is really, our days are just full. And we're going to the doctor's, and then we're going to a music lesson, and we might have an audition or an acting class that we're going to. And so we try and keep this organized. I want to say I got it from regular school, but you know, a regular school hands them a homework package or something easy that they just carry around with them, and it can be done. And so we tried to create that same kind of idea for when we're running around town. So again, we have our car bag ready with the MiFis and the right lessons and all the things they need there. But then they also have, we'll do gum is a great one to do, spelling or vocabulary, things where they can carry around a workbook and do some reading and then write in the workbook. And they can do it while they're waiting for the dentist or while they're waiting for their brother or sister in an appointment or doing those kinds of things. And we've gotten pretty good about having them bring the same subject when possible, because I'm finding that they can help each other out pretty well. So if they're all learning what a pronoun is at 4 different levels, then they can help each other out and kind of keep their support going in what they're trying to get through. So sometimes it feels like we don't get a lot of downtime because I've managed to find a way for them to work no matter where they are. But on the flip side, they get to do some other things with their time. And so when the daydreamer forgets her books and the other two are working and she's not, in the beginning, the boys would be like, well, how come she doesn't have to work in the appointments? She didn't, just because she didn't bring anything, but then she's the one that's missing out later at night when they get to go do something and she has to sit with me and get some more work done. So it's kind of a balancing act on all fronts. So one of the things that happens if you spend a whole weekend, like on Anne Frank, that was a tough one because it took a lot of family time to get the play done and all the studying and the rehearsals and the different pieces of the project, is we do these blocking. We do parties, or we just focus a day on a particular subject. Thank you, Monica. The blocking, the night owl, he doesn't like to change what he's doing. And actually what I found is that any of them, all right, this looks like this is a K12 phone number. Can you go answer that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. It actually came up as Leslie's number. Sorry for that interruption. So we do as many lessons as we can. So even the one who wants to get it done loves to make it all the way through a session and get all the way through his math or all the way through spelling or whatever he feels successful at. And so even on a home day, we're starting to lean towards blocking for 1 or 2 subjects, or we'll do like 1 subject in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, or just depending on what their interest is and what I can get them to do. If we are going, for example, we had to drive out to Edwards Air Force Base, which is through the desert, So we pulled out all the earth science, and we did earth science all the way there, and we saw all the rock formations and all the different things that we could do. So that we could get, and it was kind of fun. And now to both the teachers and the parents on the line, I do check in with my teachers so that they know that, hey, I'm going to go do Anne Frank, or I'm going to go do rock formations, or I'm going to go do this because it ties to what we're doing. And I make sure we get the whole unit done without skipping around. I know that, that the Academy is very sensitive to not working in order. But I found that when I show good logic and talk to the teachers in advance, it's not an all bad thing. They've been very supportive in that, which is very helpful. Because what better time to talk about the layers of rock than when you're driving by and you can see them. So we block those kinds of things. We do all the kids on one subject. When I say multiple kids is the best, honest to goodness, I don't know how a single, I've got a friend with an only child in the K12 program in Maryland, and we have great conversations because when one of mine doesn't get it, we just try somebody else's lesson. So if Adam needs support, we'll go down to Eric's class and work up through Eric and Kara's lessons, or if Eric's having trouble, sometimes just hearing it from a different viewpoint, we'll jump into one of the other lessons or ask his brother or sister for support, or those kinds of things. So I feel like it gives us a ton of tools. And so I actually feel like having multiple kids is absolutely the greatest part of doing this. So that's my 2 cents on how hectic it is with 3. And we do try, when we're doing our focus, to make some of the tough subjects fun. So science in particular always has a lot of activity, right? So I can't always get the experiments all organized, and you've got to be in the kitchen and do all of this. So we do science Saturdays where we know all day we're going to make a mess, and it might be a water treatment plant, or it might be chemistry or what freezes or whatever, but we know that we're going to do something together. And so Science Saturdays are one of the things that we do there to try and catch up. And then we do Friday night pizza jams. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. Friday nights are one of our best times to get work done. Auditions come to us generally Tuesday through Friday. So Monday's our long school day, and then Saturday and Sunday they're on set or doing different things that are long project oriented. I'll have to send you guys a link. Adam is now a team ensemble member for the Fred YouTube channel and does some hilarious stuff, but that takes up Saturday and Sunday both, so we kind of lose that piece of it. But so we do this Friday night pizza jam, and what we know is that we're going to order pizza when we get out of Friday night's auditions, and we're just going to do, we mostly do history because we love history, frankly, and it's a great conversation that you can have pizza and talk through and then get them back through their different lessons and their assessments from there. But we have done it with math. No offense to math teachers, but it's not quite as rewarding to do a math jam on a Friday night with pizza because you have so much writing to do. But again, it works for us if that's the subject we're trying to get done. So we pick these focus times, and we make sure that we're getting through as much as we can. And, you know, and it's a trade-off because they understand that they didn't get enough school done because of an audition or being on set or whatever came up, and they're making the trade-off. So it's been working really great. We actually have a non-K12 family that also homeschools that are history buffs, and so we started having history around the fire in their backyard, and so we sit around their fire pit and talk about the French Revolution and the impact of the Crusades and all kinds of crazy topics together. And so now it feels like you're having a social party, and we're getting our learning done. So we try to keep all of this hard work upbeat, and we know that every day could be a little bit different, but which kind of day does this work look like? And then, we get a day like today, we have no auditions. We're here at home all day, and it's back to our regular plan. And so everybody did math as soon as they got up, and then they transitioned to literature, and they're getting ready to go to science. So maybe it's been a couple of days since we've done that, but that's working. It's working to pull out the notebook, and it's official looking to them because they know that I wrote it down and I showed it to them, and they can see what kind of day it looks like. So, yes, my last picture. Remember the big picture. So with everything going on all the time, one of the things that they have to remember is their percentages and where are they overall. I was trying to figure out how to I have a great spreadsheet that if we can find the right way to share, that would be great. It has a tab for each kid, and it has every class, and it gives them a percentage of completion for every lesson. So, a spelling lesson might be 0.56, and a history might be 1.07, but they know how many percentage points they're going to get done for doing their lessons, and they know what their percentage is as of Sunday night and how many lessons they need to get done to keep their percentages where they need to be. So at any point in this, they can see that their overall percentage, they were supposed to be at 33%, and they're at 10% in a subject, but they're at 50% in a different subject. It gives them what their overall percentage is. And it's not always, it just keeps them organized on how many lessons. Hey, I better get this many lessons done on this class. The cozy calendar we use a lot. It's where we put the class connects we want to remember, because sometimes there's class connects that they're just dying to go to, but they work through them, or life overtakes them. So we put cozy reminders in so that they can make sure that that they go and look at the Sherlock Holmes newsletter from Ms. O'Donnell and what kinds of things they're doing there. I made each of them have their own Outlook account, so they get email, and I can email them with different things that I want them to remember to do. So if I'm on the phone or working with the other kid, they have in Outlook an email from me that reminds them what I want them to do and how I want them to do it, or when they're going to take a test. We also block tests, so we'll pick a day, like next Wednesday, they will all be doing tests on all the different subjects, because I'll make sure it's quiet and they're focused and we're home and they can do their best on their unit exams. My reports I told you about, we keep a big whiteboard where we're working that has reminders either written on it or with magnets on it, so that they remember, hey, remember to be ready to do life science on Saturday, or remember that you've got to be at this percentage by Monday, or different things like that, so that they know what's up. I have a clipboard like a coach, has everybody's work on it, everybody's percentages. I carry it around with me in the car, everywhere I go, and it's got their percentages and their notes. If they say they can't do something, I've got a note to why, so I can make sure I get that fixed. And then our Sunday night meetings. I love our Sunday night meetings. So Sunday night, they have to be accountable for what they got done all week and decide what we're going to get done next week. They know what their percentages are. They know what we have that we know of that's coming up. And so it's just kind of a fun organizational time. They'll make some suggestions. If they want to go to one of the improv acting classes that they love on Thursday, then this is what has to be done before they can go, and we kind of chart all that out. Excuse me. And so then we talk about, you know, what everybody is doing and what they need to get done. So that is the end of what I have. Do you guys have questions?
Jack, thank you so much. Great stuff that we all gained from your presentation today. It was absolutely amazing. I love, you know, what to do when you're on the run, because all of us are definitely very, very busy, and how to make sure that we have everything ready, from headsets to the MiFi to just pencils and notebooks ready to go in a bag or right there in the car. And then what to do when you're sitting at an appointment, whether you're waiting for your acting coach or you're waiting to meet with the dentist. There are definitely things that the kids can be doing while that time is occurring. I love how you said managing the chaos. It is definitely an organized chaos that we all have, and it just works so well for each of us to be able to define what is normal and what is going to be that managed chaos of how we get through the day when we have 15 other things that have to get done also. And then those focus points that you gave us. The Pizza Friday History Jam. That is a fabulous idea. I love that. And having all the kiddos do the same subject or the same topic, like it does lend itself very well to those gum lessons and some of the writing projects that they're doing, or even the history or science. These are incredible tips. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything to add? And I agree with what Monica wrote in here, that you are helping your kiddos achieve their dreams and to keep school a major priority in their lives. Thank you so much, Jack. I so appreciate it. Appreciate everything that you just enlightened us with and gave us tips and tricks to help make sure that our kiddos are successful day in and day out, because you are definitely have that button that you push, and it is definitely working. So thank you so very much. I hope you guys have a fabulous afternoon and the rest of your day, and a great Friday. And I hope that Pizza Friday History Jam is fabulous, and maybe some of us will instill that in our own household. Have a great day. Bye-bye.